Forward TV. The world is thinking.
I was on Air Force One. Actually, we were just getting to Air Force One when the first indications that we were trying to reach the Pentagon and find out, we were trying to talk to Secretary Rumsfeld. And among the questions that were asked when the president was on the plane, on the phone, was, Mr. President, will you give authority for the pilots to shoot down commercial jetliners? And I was sitting directly across from the president at his desk on Air Force One when this conversation is taking place. And it was a remarkable experience for me because the president was the only person I knew that could be asked that question who had empathy. He had been an Air National Guard fighter pilot. And he said, I can't imagine, these are roughly the words he said, I can't imagine being a 22-year-old pilot being told to shoot down a commercial jetliner. That'd be a very hard order to accept.
So what did the president say?
But he said, yes, they have the authority.
And that was relayed to Secretary Rumsfeld?
It was not only that, but when we got on board Air Force One, we had just heard that the third plane hit the Pentagon. Then we heard a fourth plane went down. The initial report was near Camp David, is what the president was told. Of course, it turned out to be across the border in Pennsylvania. But at that moment, we still thought, and we had been told, that there were 6 unidentified aircraft that did not respond to the signal to land. So we thought, still 6, President Bush thought, 6 aircraft in the sky, still missiles. Not only did the president say yes to give the order to shoot down, I remember he said that to Secretary Rumsfeld, he also, right around that same conversation, the order was given to go to DEFCON 3 for the first time since 1973 war. That's how serious the stakes were, because now we can look back and say, well, it was just 4 planes and everybody knows that. No, at that moment we thought there were 6 more, and of course people were being told across the country that the mall was on fire, there was a car bomb at the State Department. No one knew the full extent of this.
Yeah. Tim, what kind of authority did the president need at that moment that he didn't have?
Well, I remember, Ann, as I was handed the little sort of instant transcript of the president's directive, I was standing in the Situation Room, and one of the military personnel that manned the Situation Room desk tore it off and handed it to me. Immediately the question was, what is the president's authority to do this? And I knew that 2 things. First of all, any legal analysis was going to be woefully behind the event. The order had been given. I also knew immediately that it was completely justified as a matter of the president's exercise of commander-in-chief authority to repel an immediate attack. And then knowing that this would be examined in the light of history afterwards. I also got on my cell phone, which is a reasonably legal thing to do in the Situation Room, and got a hold of the General Counsel at the Department of Defense and asked him the question, is there any other authority we can rely on? And he basically, after a pause of 1, 2, 3, 4, came back and said immediately, somebody's already looked it up, there is authority under, and he cited a statute, I think it was the NORAD statute, that gives the National Command Structure authority to deal with imminent threats in the U.S.